Hey, Matt, let's talk about $1 million careers. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
So, the phone,
Phone.
communication, the
Mm-hmm.
phone and communication.
Okay.
I think the phone, I don't know what people's fear of the phone is. Everybody's got one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody's got one of these. Um, they're on it all the time.
Texting, messaging,
They're on
meeting,
the phone all the
TikToking.
time.
Yes.
They're on the phone all the time. But the one thing nobody wants to do is you see the 10 little buttons. You got 10 little buttons there. Or you got what, a dozen buttons, but if you push 10 of them in sequence, you can actually call people
Mm.
and talk to them. I don't know why does nobody want to do that anymore? Have we become the most passive aggressive society in the face of the planet that communication can only happen through text or
Mm-hmm.
email or Slack? I don't even know what Slack is. I've never been on it. So I
No,
talk about it. I'll talk
no,
trash
that's
about
all right.
it.
You're not missing much.
I've never been on it. So
Yeah.
I don't have any need for Slack.
Oh man.
This is a great story.
Yeah.
This is a great story. I'll interrupt you for a second. I literally got an email once.
Okay.
I literally got an email once from VP of HR. Urgent. I need to talk to you within the next 2 minutes about this interview. It was via email. Urgent.
Well, what?
All right. So I guess I got to be on my email all the time now because people want to email me. If it's urgent, you pick up the phone and you go, boop, 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 you dial the 10 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
You call me. My number hasn't changed in 15 years. It's
That's
the same
right.
one.
But it's not just the urgency, although that is a very weird example. Yeah, you had a situation come up that sparked this, which was interesting. And it was based on a text.
Yeah.
And it didn't have anything to do with the urgency part of it. It was just the refusal to, again, pick up the phone, have basically an uncomfortable conversation. And you just posted about this at LinkedIn. So anybody who's listening, you can go read the post on LinkedIn. It was really good because you pointed out that it's all like progress is made, things happen, deals come together or fall apart in conversations. You can't have those kinds of conversations over email, over text. Things don't get worked out that way. Things get worked out by people talking to each other, either on the phone, on Zoom, something like that, or in person.
Yeah.
But like real human communication has to take place.
Real human. Here's the deal: is people cannot control the situation. You get into you can't control the situation, but what you can control is how you react to it.
Right.
The wrong way to react to it is text, angry text, angry email where, my God, you copy the whole company on it. Slack, whatever the hell that is, but people are snipping at each other on Slack, and and I hear about that all the time now.
Yeah, that's an interesting new phenomenon.
You think about, you get a message from somebody and you don't understand it, or you're angry or you're frustrated. What's the matter with just picking up the phone, calling them and going, I don't understand where you're going with this. Help me figure it out. And you communicate. Oh, there's a problem? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's work it out. Let's figure it out. Let's get it fixed. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's business.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
Stuff does happen. Yeah. One of the best things one of my mentors years ago said to me is always assume positive intent. So if there's ever any kind of breakdown in communication, or you think something has happened that you perceive as an attack, like take a step back and just start by assuming there was no negative intent behind it. It was only either it's probably people are mostly neutral towards you, right? Nobody's out to get you. People are mostly neutral and they're worried about themselves. So odds are they didn't mean it in the way you're taking it to mean. And even if they did, it's still better to come into a conversation assuming positive intent, because sometimes if you do, it will flip them around and it will change the frame of it to where it gives them a way to kind of back out of being negative
Yep.
and flip it into something positive, even if they didn't originally intend it that way. It gives them kind of a way to save face and go, you know what, I did mean that. Yeah, totally. Totally what I meant by that. So yeah, in every situation, assume positive intent, and that's helped smooth out a lot of that stuff. And that also makes it easier to pick up the phone and call. Because if you assume positive intent on the other side, then you're not dreading a super uncomfortable conversation. You go into it going, hey, maybe they made a mistake. Maybe they didn't see my email. Maybe XYZ happened. And even if you have to make up the reasons and you don't think it's actually reality, who cares? Assume positive intent and makes that phone call easier. At least get the ball rolling on the communication.
Here's the ultimate thing: is people are afraid of confrontation.
Yeah.
People don't want, look, nobody wants confrontation. Nobody wants conflict. And nobody, very few people actually go out looking for it. Nobody really wants to deliver bad news. But bad news has to be delivered. So interestingly enough, a good friend of mine was a guy named Sean Dawkins. He passed away. Sean was a phenomenal guy. He's one of those guys, he passed away when he was 44 years old. He, heart, whatever. Sean was a great guy. But his dad, Heisman Trophy winner named Pete Dawkins. And Pete went on to become I think, vice chairman of Citigroup. He led the private wealth group at Citigroup.
So a slacker is what you're saying.
Yeah, really, really. And so Pete, Sean and Pete and I are sitting in a bar one Saturday afternoon, we're just watching a football game, having a drink in Savannah, Georgia. And I mentioned something about, I got to go deliver bad news to somebody and I'm just dreading it. And Pete looks at me and goes, just remember, bad news does not get better with age. It is not wine.
That's a great line. Oh, I love it.
It is not a wine. He just looks at me straight up and he goes, bad news does not get better with age. It's like, okay, I got to go deliver the bad news. Let's just go do it. And, you think about, all right, the conversation starts with, hey, you're not going to like the conversation. You're not going to like the news, but here it comes. This is reality. And it sucked, and you have the conversation, but 10 minutes later, it's over.
That's true.
But it can't be done via text or email.
Yeah. It perpetuates it, creates an opportunity for more bad things to happen.
And then you think about the most successful CEOs in the world. They're picking up the phone. They're communicating with their people. The most successful executives, most successful salespeople are out there communicating with their customers. They're not doing it via email and text.
That is true.
No angry customer was ever made happy via email.
Is that an official Craigism now?
I don't know.
We're going to slap that on a meme. That's pretty good. Love it.
Or how about Reddit? Am I the asshole on Reddit? Sometimes sometimes I get on Facebook and I read Facebook news and there's always the MI on Reddit. And it's always more often than not, it's, this person broke up with me via text.
Yeah, right.
You dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. Fair point.
You now know who you were dealing with before the text came. You dodged a bullet.
Right.
Be thankful.
Okay. So what if you are on the receiving end of that person? They don't want to call. They didn't make the call. They have initiated the communication, right? Obviously, one of the solutions is you yourself pick up the phone and call. But a lot of time, maybe they avoid the call. Maybe they're just not available, whatever. But they obviously don't want to deal with you that way. Otherwise, they would have picked up a phone call. So how do you deal with that on the receiving end of it?
Yeah. So look, if it's professional, a lot of times, in my opinion, the only thing that's appropriate for email or text is yes, no, we'll talk on Tuesday, dinner's at 8, things like that. Very simple stuff. If I get an involved text or email from somebody, my simple response back is this: not appropriate for email. What time are you available to talk?
Okay.
That's it. And then we set up a call and go, okay, let's talk about what we need to talk about to make sure we're clear. And, if someone does not want to get something, someone does not want to talk to me, then it's moot. It's just not that important for me to worry about.
Okay.
I don't care. If someone doesn't want to talk to me about it, I really don't care. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's your problem, not mine.
Set the boundaries, enforce the boundaries.
Exactly.
All right. Love it.
That's a boundary. I mean, that's kind of it. It's not important enough to talk about. It's just not that important. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's a communication style that if you want to be a leader, you adopt and you set those boundaries, enforce those boundaries, both with yourself and other people. Okay. I like it. Get you into a repetition and a groove of handling communication that way. Mm-hmm. So that probably prevents a lot of those situations from coming up. It won't prevent other people from wanting to avoid confrontation with you, but it will prevent you from doing that to other people.
Yeah, look, it comes down to this. If you want to be a business leader, just understand now that you're going to have a lot of difficult conversations. Mm-hmm. And deals that go south, you're going to have the conversations that say, hey, I'm really happy to offer you this job. And you're going to have the conversations that are really, uncomfortable, which you're fired.
Right.
Wasn't working out. Now, what makes you a leader is how you have that difficult conversation.
Yeah. And
you can't be a leader if you're not willing to have that difficult conversation. If you avoid confrontation or you avoid the difficult conversations, just say, hey, it's cool. I'm going to be an individual contributor the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. You're never going to be a leader.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another type of conversation that I think is maybe more difficult. I don't have any problem firing anybody, especially if it's performance reasons. Like, they made their own bed, they lie in it. I'm just the messenger. But there's a third kind of conversation, which is somebody else has screwed something up or somebody else has caused them damage. And I have to be the one that apologizes, smooths it over, handles the ramifications and the fallout and all that stuff. That was similar to the kind of the situation that you mentioned with yourself. Like it's not like you made a mistake. There was some series of events happened and you have to be the one that, handles some of the fallout. That was one of the things about leadership that really tripped me up. Mm-hmm. Because I'm very big on, like individual accountability. It's really hard for me to just take accountability and go, you know what, you're right. I was involved. I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but the outcome was damaging to you. I totally get it. From your perspective, I did something wrong, even though I don't agree in the moment. I wouldn't have made any, decisions differently, but I get it. Like, this damaged you. I will fix it. I will take accountability. That's a really tough conversation. And I think that's probably one of the toughest you can have as a leader, is taking accountability for things that other people have done outside of your control. And you suck it up.
Well, yeah, but I think that's the start of the conversation is, hey, look, at the end of the day, it's my responsibility. I'm accountable for it. It's my fault. Let's just start there. Mm-hmm. And once you do that, there's the old feel, felt, found. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know how you feel. Mm-hmm. I felt the same way when I was in your situation, which I've been a number of times. And here's what I found the best way to fix it is. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm responsible for it. I'll take the accountability. Let's fix it. Mm-hmm. And once you do that, because most time the angry person on the other side of the phone, all they want is somebody to sort of, hey, look, I'm mad.
I understand.
Okay. You can be mad at me. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you done being mad? Yeah. Okay. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then it's
true. Sometimes a big part of leadership is being willing to let someone else yell at you.
That's
but you can't do that if they won't pick up the phone and call you. So pick up the phone.
But we all have to be big boys and girls.
Yeah.
To have that conversation. Because if you're just going to be hiding behind texts and emails, I'm mad at you. Well, okay. Let's talk about it. No. All right. Good luck.
All right. Steve Jobs invented those 10 little buttons on the phone for a reason. Steve Jobs, right? Yeah, he's around.
Steve Jobs. Tim Cook's the guy who keeps putting them there. So
yeah,
I'll give Tim. I'll give Tim the credit. I'll give Tim the credit.
Tim's coasting.
Okay.
Anyway. All right. So how does one reach out and connect with you? I assume you want to be texted at all hours of the day.
You can. Yeah. Send me a text before you call me. No, it's Phone's always on. It's on 910-231-4037. Emails Craig at northstaresg.com. And I'm all over LinkedIn. Shoot me a note on LinkedIn, whenever. So
yeah, I was going to say that's
shoot
right.
me a
If
note.
you want him to answer something urgently, send him an email with a timing of 2 minutes. That's the best way to
shoot
get hold of Craig.
Shoot me a note. Shoot me a note. Shoot me a text and say, when can we talk? And we will get something on the calendar.
That's right. All right. And for the podcast itself, remember, hit subscribe, leave a review. That's super, super helpful. It's one of the best ways you can thank someone that hosts a podcast for all the work that goes into their show. So leave a review on Apple, especially. You can also do it on Spotify if that's your main place that you listen. And Craig, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.
Matt, as always, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the latest edition of the Aerospace Executive Podcast. You can reach out to me directly, Craig at northstaresg.com, or check us out at www.northstaresg.com. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or on YouTube. Just do a search for Aerospace Executive Podcast. Thanks again. I'm Craig Pittman.